Hey everybody, today we're going to be making this spooky town. This is actually part 2 of our spooky town video. In the first video we did the haunted house with the Dollar Tree, the pink doll houses. And in this video we'll be making 2 more of the houses so that we'll have a total of the 3 houses in our town. And also we'll show you how we put the whole town together using things like Dollar Tree foam, the foam core, netting, and some other little elements. I used, for inspiration, I used DIY Kareem and Bargain Bethany's videos. And I will link them in the description below, and also I'll link the first video for the house as well. I started out by painting these wooden houses. They had 2 types in our Dollar Tree, and what I did was I bought 2 of each and I just painted them with black Rust-Oleum spray paint. And of course you can always use acrylic paint too if you'd like. And then I bought got the towering blocks, and I just glued a bunch of them at the bottom and just glued everything together. You don't really need as many blocks as I have here. It was a little bit overkill. And then I'll just later on paint those blocks the black, so that'll match. And I painted both sides so that I figured on the inside it would look real dark and spooky in there. I also have seen a few other YouTubers do the gold on the inside, and that looked really nice too. So what we'll do next here is we're going to, I'm just, showing you the size here. And then here is the second house. I did it the same way and decided to put some jumbo popsicle sticks just on the roof. And I really didn't have any rhyme or reason to the measurements of them. I just kind of took each one and cut them, and then I just hot glued them onto the areas that would look like the roof. And here it is finished and sprayed also. And next what we'll be doing is putting shutters on them. And I took some popsicle sticks and just kind of mixed some black and white paint. And here I'm measuring just the size of the shutters. I didn't really want to get crazy over it because they're just going to need to look uneven and creepy and everything. So not all of them are the same. And there's so many windows on here. I just didn't make them for everything. But I thought it would give it some nice dimension just to have the different color, because everything was looking very black and very dark. So and I'm just taking a look in here, just using my pencil. And then what I'll do is I'll get sizes for a bunch of them and kind of, make a production line here and just start cutting the shutters out. And you just have to hold your hand over, because what will happen is they'll go flying. And I'm taking my glue gun and I glued all the shutters on, and I really like the way that they came out. I think it just gives it that extra something. So and there is a little bit of glue on here, so I'm just pulling those off now. And I do that anytime that I can throughout a project, so it's not so crazy at the end, try to get everything off. But I really love this. I think it came out really nice, and it does need a bit more something, but we'll handle that later. And here what I'm doing is I've cut some pieces, and I will get the measurements for these. I think they were maybe 3.5, 2.5, and 1.5, but I will check that, and I'll put that in the measurements in the video. And I'm lining them up. I'm going to make 2 of these picket fences, and I just wanted them for, I didn't do a picket fence all the way around. I just did this creepy fence just in the front, 2 pieces, and then put some netting over it, and it just kind of gave the town an entryway. And I've lined everything up. I'm taking a look at it, and I'm just doing some marks here. This is the first time I've made anything like this. So it was, a lot of measuring and reorganizing and everything. So I had taken some of these smaller pieces here and just doing a little bit more measuring and lining up. And here I'm going to do a 1/2 inch down on each one because I'm going to put the first fence slat about a 1/2 inch down. So I'm just taking all the pieces here and making that 1/2 inch mark. And what I'll do too is we'll get them all lined up, and that'll give us a good idea of what we can expect here. And that's what it'll look like without the slats going across. And then with those measurements I put my slats across here. So little by little, I'm really just eyeballing this part of it and just trying to space those out. And I think I like that there. And then also I'll put my top piece on, and it looks better down a little bit and that the pieces are uneven. And the part that is facing towards me is going to actually go into the foam core. And the pieces that are facing up towards you are going to be the top of the fence. So I just didn't worry about it. I just kind of put it together there and got it all set. And what I'll do in here is just before I glue, I'm taking that last little look here, and then we'll put a couple of dots and we'll get those pieces all glued together, and we'll just have them just set up like this. It's easier to work with. And once that frame is made, we'll put a little pressure on that. And then once the frame is made, then it'll make it easier and, wipe off any extra glue that you have laying around there. But once you make this frame and get it set up, it is a lot easier to put the slats going through. And just doing a little bit more hot glue here, and we'll get that lined up. Put a little pressure on it, hold it down. You don't have to hold it down too long. And then I'm just taking a paper towel and wiping out that excess. I got a little bit too much glue on them, but that's okay. It always wipes off, so it's good. Now I'm taking a little bit less measurements, and we'll just get ourselves lined up here and measuring just this part. And really this could have been, it didn't have to be so precise. It was just because this was the first time I was doing it, and I wanted to have an idea of what where my measurements needed to be. So it's not something that you have to do. It's just something that I did at first. If I was to make another one, I'd have a lot more of an idea of just the fact that I could eyeball this. I mean, it's just a spooky fence. It's supposed to be broken down and kind of, dilapidated looking. And then once you have that frame set up, you could put the pieces underneath and then line those up. And I'm just taking a look at that, and you can see it's off a little bit. So I'll just take my pieces and just keep rearranging them until I get them where I want. And I do make some more lines here, and just to give it that piece, to give a reference point, that's all. So that I'm not second guessing it, the whole time. So we'll put our first piece in and get that glued down. And then we do have can eyeball it to see what we think, and we can get the second piece in, glue that one on. And I'm still rearranging this here, but you really don't have to do that. I mean, it's just one of those things. I could have even made some of them crooked and left some of them out just to give it even more of a spookier effect and just have it, really dilapidated looking. All right, and here I got my 2 lined up. We're getting into some productivity now, and I had 2 at once, and here we go. That's our first piece there, and then what we'll do is just do the same with the next one. And I'm still working on just taking that paper towel and getting that glue out. It was easier for me while it was wet, and just putting it all together. And now what I'll do to get these painted and painted all at the same time, front and back, I'll put these in this just styrofoam piece I had laying around the house that I've been using. And I'm just cutting some slats in there so I could stand it up. And the front and back will be painted with that Craft Essentials black paint. And, you know, being able to get the front and the back in at the same time will be really helpful. And showing you the paint again. And just using a big brush, just brush all that paint on. And you can get into the little nooks and crannies if you take the foam and just kind of turn it. So we'll, you know, I'll get that finished up off camera. And this is the foam core. It's just black foam core that I got from Dollar Tree. This will be the base of the spooky town. And I'll paint the edges black. And I also, and you don't have to do this because it was really covered up, but I took some of that black craft paint and I painted painted on the edges and the top of the foam core itself. And but after I did this, I realized that, you know, I'm just showing you that I'm going to finish this up, but and then, you know, I really didn't need it, but I took my a chip brush that I got from Home Depot, and I'm going to dry brush. This was a little heavy-handed at first, more than I wanted, but what I'll do is take a paper towel and just, you know, after I'm finished dry brushing on here, I'll just blend that dry brushing in with the paper towel. And the black paint underneath it is a little bit wet still, but not sopping wet. And if you will forgive me, I'm just getting over a cold and my voice sounds a little raspy, but I wanted to make sure before Halloween that I got this video out. So here's the paper towel technique, and it's just a dry paper towel, and with that wetness of both of the paint, I was able just to blend it in. And mainly everything was covered anyway, so you really didn't see this, but you know, it's just that extra something something. And I wanted to make a spooky haunted tree to put some Halloween decorations on. I found this at Dollar Tree. They usually have something like this every year with polka dots or something, but I like that black and white pattern. So, and I want to make this spooky tree. I've never had one, and I really didn't want to pay a fortune for it. So I had some old foam laying around for another project. So I'm taking my knife and just taking the top of the circle there and just measuring it out. And I'll take that knife and cut it. And this will be what I take those branches. I'll put those branches in. And these are just from the Halloween section at the Dollar Tree. And they pretty much, I've been seeing these every year at my Dollar Tree. So I think it's kind of one of the standard things that they usually have. So I'm pressing this in. I decide for some reason that I want it back out, and that's not happening. So we're just going to go with it and press it in. And it was really fine. But once it was in there, that was it. So I'm taking the labels off here, and I'm just going to take a look and just see where I want the branches. And I'm spreading them out just before I stick them in. You really don't have to. I thought I'd do one in the middle, and then I'm just going to take the rest of them and just sporadically put them around in a circle. I think I bought, if I can see there, it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think it was about 5 or 6 that I bought, but that would be up to whatever, the fullness that you wanted for your tree. So I'm very happy with the fullness of this, and that I was able to taper it, on my own and just get it as fluffy as I wanted and make my own design with it. And it was, very customizable. And then here's that black Craft Smart paint again. And that foam part in there, I'm going to paint that black. My plan was to put some webbing in there and put something else in there. And when I painted it black, it was fine. It really looked good. And with the votive cup there, I just really liked the way that I think it gave it enough pizzazz to where I didn't have to do anything else with it. And here it is. I've got the ornaments from Dollar Tree on it, and then I took some of the little berries from some picks and I glued those on. And I had a really good time with that, and I love the way that it looks. And here's the second and third houses. And I used some of that Dollar Tree tulle, the orange that they have out for Halloween. And those lights are from Amazon.com, and I'll see if I could find them again. They're remote, and I just have them in the middle house. And in the first and the third house, I just have tea lights in the windows, and I reach in and I turn them on and off. And I just love the way that they look in there, and they have that little flicker. And I happen to have the Amazon lights on hand, so that's what I used. And I would like to eventually do the electric lights in there, or just all battery, so that I can reach to the back and just shut everything off. But I'll look around for that. So the tulle is in the third house on the right also, and tea lights are just kind of put in there. But I did put a lot in there, because if you see at night, in the dark, you can really see the flickering lights. And in the third house, you can see a little bit of flickering lights. And I just put a lot of tulle in there, and I like the way that glows. And the fireplace is a little paperclip holder with a tea light and some gemstones in it. And I did find some that red glittery items that you see in there. That was a piece of garland that I found just walking out of Dollar Tree. Just happened to be up on the shelf. It was the only one. So there's the fence posts. I put a little bit of white on them. And there is the black netting from Dollar Tree over everything. And the pumpkins are just the foam pumpkins from some of the picks from Dollar Tree. And I took apart one of the skeletons, and I just put the hands up, and the hands hold the netting. So, and I put those all around the whole entire piece of foam core. The Spooky Town up over on the right hand side is made from 2 black pedestals from Dollar Tree, and then I just made an image in Canva. And the glitter pumpkins are just some table scatter that they had at Dollar Tree. And the trees are actually green trees, the bottlebrush trees, but they're painted yellow and orange. And that's just some Rust-Oleum paint. But you can even paint them with a sponge brush and whatever color that you would like to put in. And coloring or covering the ground on top of the foam core is that Dollar Tree moss that you can get, and it looks like dead grass. It's the beige color, and I thought it was perfect. And I believe that is probably a bag, and that covered the whole thing, and I still had some left over. But I just love the way that this Spooky Town came out. I've always wanted one, and they're always expensive. I always look at them in the store, and they're so expensive. And I just decided I'd make my own, and I am so excited. This is something that I can look at, and during the day it looks just as pretty as it does at night. So I really, really hope that you love this video, and that it inspires you to make your own Spooky Town. And if you do, please tag me on Instagram. It's at Tranquil Mentor, and I would love to see your version and how everything came out. But until then, thank you so very much. I appreciate your watching my video today, and I will see you in the next one.